Small intestine. The small intestine is actually the longest segment of the gastrointestinal tract, the long continuous pathway that food delivers through the digestive system. In the small intestine, food is broken down into the liquid, most of its nutrients are absorbed. The waste is passed on to the large intestine. What is the small intestine? The small intestine is part of our digestive system. It makes up part of the long pathway that food takes through your body, called the gastrointestinal tract. When food leaves the stomach, it enters the small intestine, also called the small bowel. The small bowel connects to the large bowel, also called a large intestine or colon. The intestines are responsible for breaking down food, absorbing its nutrients, and solidifying the waste. The small intestine is the longest part of the GI tract, and it is where most of your digestion take place. What are the different parts of the small intestine? The small intestine has a beginning section, a middle section, and an end section. Although there is no real separation between the parts, they do have slightly different characteristics and roles to play. Duodenum. The duodenum is the first part of the small intestine that the stomach feeds into. It is a short, descending chute that curves around the pancreas in a C shape before connecting to the rest of the colloidal intestine. Duodenum, the remaining small intestine, lays in many coils inside the lower abdominal cavity. Its middle section, which is called duodenum, makes up a little less than half of this remaining length. The duodenum is characterized by many blood vessels, which give it a deep red color. Ileum. The ileum is the last and longest section of the small intestine. Here, the wall of the small intestine began to the thin and the narrow, and blood supply is reduced. Food spends the most time in the ileum, where the most water and nutrients are absorbed. What does the small intestine do? The small intestine is where most of the long process of digestion take place. It is systematically breaks food down, absorb nutrient, extract water, and moves food along the gastrointestinal tract. There's a lot involved in all this. This process can take up to 5 hours. How do the different parts of small intestine work? Duodenum to help break down the small intestine receive digestive juice from other organ in your digestive system including your liver, gallbladder and pancreas. Ducts from these organs feed into the duodenum. Hormone glands in the lining of the duodenum signal these organs to release their chemical when food is present. Duodenum. After chemical digestion in the duodenum, food moves into the duodenum where the muscle work of digestion picks up. Nerve in the intestinal wall triggers its muscles to churn food back and forth, mixing it with digestive juice. Other muscle movement keep the food moving gradually forward. Mucosa. The wall of the small intestine are lined with a dense mucosa with many glands that both secrete and absorb in the duodenum and the ileum. The mucosa secretes small intestine of digestive system and lubricating mucus while absorbing nutrients from your food. Each section is designed to absorb different nutrients as well as water. The thick mucosa has so many folds and projections that its surface area is about 100 times as broad as the surface area of your skin. This is why 95% of the carbohydrates are absorbed in the small intestine. It is also absorbed about 90% of the water that is received during digestion. The rest will be absorbed in your large intestine.